Hello again. Welcome back on my YouTube channel. I'm back again with another video. So today I'm just gonna make a video how to stop living for others. There are actually a blend of people who still in a place where they living life for approval, they living life to please others. I've been there, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say it took me like 2 months to actually discover what exactly made me to be a person who want to live my life for my mother. It took me like a year or 2 years, I'm not sure. So it took me like a lot of time to be where I am at and to start living life for myself. So when I'm saying that, how to stop living for others and live for your own. So when it comes to life, you only live once. So when you only live once, what do? You make it worth it. You whatever that you do, you make it worth it. Even if you made a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures, you experience a lot of failures. It's part of life. What important is you getting out from that mentality of assuming that you are actually a failure, because calling yourself as a failure, it's one of the worst thing that you can ever do. It's kind of like, it's a very harsh, you're not supposed to be harsh with yourself like that. So having a dialogue with yourself that is actually healthy, whenever you're speaking with yourself, when you actually experience some difficulties, experiencing some failure, or experiencing when things that you wanted to happen and not happening, some sort of like maybe you are directed in a new path, a new direction. Just view it like that, like you are directed to a new path, new direction. Maybe they're not ready to receive whatever that you are bringing in on earth. Maybe you are not, people are not ready to receive what you actually got, because eventually everything is happening in divine timing. You can always assume that just because my project failed now, it doesn't mean, it means it won't take, or it won't happen to be in a place where it's actually is received by a lot of people. So, and you actually finding yourself gaining a lot from that experience, because sometimes you are not ready for whatever that you are actually willing to do. uh, Maybe you are doing it, but you are not ready to actually to receiving the blessing that comes with it. So don't assume that just because you feel it's harsh. Don't use harsh word with yourself whenever you're experiencing some difficulties, some obstacles, because at the end of the day, adversities is part of life, and it's the spices of life. Just think about it. If you get everything that you want whenever you want it, and then it's just come, I don't think you will have, and you will enjoy it, you will take it for granted. So how to stop living for other people, others, is and start living for yourself. The thing is, we are all individual, we are all living for our own. So whenever you are coming across the blend of toxic parent who actually trying to live their dreams in their kids, instead of living, allowing their kids to navigate their own life, they want their kids to be better. They view other their kids in terms of like, they use their kids for a reputation, to the point that they deprive you to actually follow a path that is actually that you feel directed to do, you guided to follow through with. So what they do, they try telling you that you can't do this certain, you can't be a musician, you can't be an artist, you can't be a YouTuber, you can't be a model, but you know you're actually passionate about it, because they have a certain path for you, or they already actually created a path for yourself, which is extremely disturbing. And I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be hard, because you never rebel against your parent. You will feel like a bad child or whatsoever. But in all honesty, just follow your heart. It's not gonna be easy, but it'll be all worth it. So doing what you actually love, it helps, because at the end of the day, a lot of depression that you actually experience is the depression that comes with doing things that we're actually not passionate about, doing things that are not igniting our soul. Instead, we're doing something for the sake of doing it. You end up being depressed and end up being end up being so society. Oh gosh, you end up being having a thought of killing yourself and whatsoever. So it's a bad place to be at. So that's why sometimes whenever you're opening up, whether that you actually, for example, you are gay, and then you end up experiencing feeling like your parents are against you, what you against who you actually are, because being gay is not a choice. It's not a choice. It's something that happens, and sometimes it will take time to actually recognize that you're actually gay. You're actually into, because you are the programming. It takes time to actually clear up the programming that you actually, because you are being programmed to believe that the only time relationship it makes sense, it's when you are dating, when you're a man dating a woman, when you're a woman dating a man. So the programming, it takes a lot of time. So whenever you're coming out as a gay, and then you are experiencing rejection just because of your gender, why do you want to be around people who don't give a fuck about you? Because at the end of the day, it's not our fault to be born and to be who we are. So whenever you're experiencing rejection from people that you actually expecting them to be the most supportive people in your life, why do you want to be around those people? The fact that you are wanting to be a musician and then it's not being received in a acceptance manner, why do you want to be around those people? It takes time, because you can't just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna, it takes time, because sometimes you're gonna go through a self-doubt, you're gonna doubt yourself, you're gonna experience a lot of pain, because eventually, whenever you start living for yourself, a lot of people will be angry at you, will have a lot of things to say. They think you are better, you think you're better than them, or they will start having a lot of negative things to say about your career path, because eventually they are not aligned with you. Sometimes you just have to let them go. Sometimes they are jealous, because I believe we all have at some point in our life, we all have a certain goals or certain career path that is actually unconventionally. And most of the time, a lot of people will say, I want to be an actor, I want to be a musician, I want to be a dancer, and then eventually they don't follow through. So now they get jealous of the fact that you are following it through, because at the end of the day, it's your life. You are the only one who knows that this is something that I want. So living your life for the sake of being approved by your mother, the fact that you have to have approval, getting approval from her, that means you are actually not being loved for who you are, and there's a high possibility that you actually don't need that person in your life, even if it's your mother. It doesn't mean you have to stay around while you feel like you have to let yourself go in order to be accepted by them. You have to be something that you are not, in order for you to be accepted by whoever that you need acceptance from, whether it's a father or whatsoever. And I find it disturbing whenever people say things like, I am living my life for my mother. And I used to be like that. I used to say things like that, until I realized no matter what I do, no matter how much I try, it will never be enough for the wrong people. Whatever you do, even if you done something that you are so proud of, instead they will poke that happiness that you actually experiencing. They hate it when you are happy. So whenever, why are you living a life for people who actually don't give a fuck about you? I know sometimes it has to do with the fact that you hate being rejected. You want other people to be part of your life, but as much as you want people to be part of your life, it's important to know that not every people that you actually want in your life, that are meant to be in your life. Not every people that you want so badly to be part of your life, they're meant to be part of your life. So this is something that you should be consider. As painful as it must, as painful as it is, you should be aware that being love for not who you are, what's the point of being around those people? Because you end up hating yourself for 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 something that you can actually avoid. You can actually avoid people who actually make you feel bad about being yourself. So why do you want to be around people who don't want you to be yourself? Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's your career, it's your life. It's you who know what you want. Why do you want people eventually, whenever you're speaking about trying wanting to live abroad, they have issue with the fact that you want to live abroad? It's your life. It's who you. It's you who want to live abroad. It's not them. Just think about it. Whenever, every time you're living your life, for the sake of people who don't give a fuck, because there's a higher possibility that whenever you're living a life for others, they don't even love you. There's no way people actually love you will allow you to sabotage your life. They will allow you to actually be in a place where you're not living your life that is actually making you happy. People who actually love you, they want to see you smiling most of the time. They want to see you achieving things that you're actually proud of. What's the point of achieving goals and knowing exactly that you have to take over a family company, knowing exactly that you are not passionate about it, you don't even want to do it. You're just doing for the sake that you want to be accepted by your father. You're just doing for the sake of whatsoever. And you are living a life, you know yourself as an introvert, but eventually you actually trying to come off as extrovert just because you have a crush on this guy. Why are you doing that? Why do you go to that extent? Why don't you just allow yourself to be yourself? Why are you living your life? Because eventually it does not end there. Whenever you're trying to attract a crush, and then it happened that the crush is actually extroverted, is outgoing, you are not. So are you telling me that you're gonna, what if the relationship lasts for a year? So you're gonna have a year of your life where you're trying to approve yourself every time in a relationship that you actually worth of being with this guy. I Because at the end of the day, you are not aligned with yourself. So doing things that actually not aligned with you, it will put you out of alignment, and then you can experience a lot of pain, because it's self betrayal, it's self hate. Whenever you're doing something for the sake of being approved by others, being loved by others, living a life because of my friend is gonna say this. What if my friend? Oh, I'm just gonna listen to my friend. You, every time you don't make your own decision, it's just you being codependent on other people who don't give a fuck about you. Because people who give a fuck about you, they will want you to be independent. They wanna push you to be independent. They wanna push you to do things that are actually align with you. So are you telling me that you're gonna sabotage your life just because you don't want to live your life the way you want to live? That is actually a self hate. Whenever you look, for example, for me, when I it took me like a lot of time to realize the fact that I acknowledge the fact that I'm not living my life for for me. It's a first step. Acknowledging that you're not living your life for you, it's a first step. Secondly, you should go back to when it started for you to be in a place where you feel like you are supposed to be obedient kid. You're supposed to follow through with whatever people are actually saying. When did it started? How did it start? For me, I actually had a conversation about me, and I was outside the door, and I had people talking about me, and that person, it was my mother. She was telling me how much she hates me, and that how I began to actually start living my life for approval. And I was dating ever since when I began high school. That's when I realized, that's when I became this person. And then how to move away from that. Why do I fear so much to be rejected by, because she already rejected me, she knew that she doesn't love me. So why do I put myself in a place where I'm actually trying to trying to prove that you can actually love me? Because it's painful to be rejected, I'm not gonna lie. Especially it's painful when it's people that you want so badly to be people who actually love you. And that's why sometimes we do it without even realizing, because eventually when you know that your mother feels the way she feels about you, you're gonna try to make a way probably to be liked by her, which is actually disturbing, because you're not supposed to prove yourself that you're actually worthy of being loved. You are not supposed to prove yourself that you are worth of being valued. You are not, because your value, you walk your value, and people are supposed to respect you the way you are. They're supposed to respect, because you are the one who put value. Every end up with people actually every time they're trying to push you away from your values, the value that you put yourself, you're trying to make yourself to doubt yourself, make your self-worth to go downward. So why do you want to keep people who actually make you feel like that? So eventually you have to let them go. You have to know when did the issue started, so that you'll be able to move away from it, because it's a root. It's something that is rooted. You're not something that you is like you can just walk away from, because it's where it's a trauma. Here my Hearing them talking about how much she hate me, it traumatized me to the point that I ended up being trying by all means to be accepted, trying by all means to be a child that wanted to be a favorite, instead of accepting that, you know what, I'm actually a scapegoat and it's fine, and I just need to move away from that. But for me, being not accepting the fact that I'm actually that how she feels, it made me feel like it's easy to please, because whatever follows, I end up being a people's pleaser, from friends, from whatsoever. So you need to understand when it began, how it began, why did you study to move the way that you were actually moving, because everything, it has root. Trying, no, first thing, acknowledging that I'm actually a people's pleaser, I'm not living a life for me. When did it started? Or okay, what is the root? What made me find myself to be in a place where I feel like I need to approve to be live a life for others? Why do I need to wear a mask every time? Because I always felt like I'm wearing a mask every time when socially. I have to put up a mask every time when I'm actually back at home, whether in my room whatsoever. I feel like I had to take it out and to be myself. Sometimes I would try myself to sleep, it's a mask, because I was wearing a mask the whole day. I was not myself, and my body was itching. I was wanted to so badly to be myself, and that never happened. And eventually, I found 21. I changed my life for better, but it took me a lot of time. I'm not gonna say, oh wow, 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 in just 2 months. No, sometimes like, probably after watching this video, probably one sentence will make sense. Eventually it's you who's gonna go through that journey, because my journey and your journey is different. I'm not gonna just try and project my journey to you, but it takes time. Like it takes time. It's not something that you're supposed to feel bad about it whenever you find yourself going back to the pattern, because it's something that you've been doing for probably years, and you've been doing for years, and it needs a lot of years too to actually reverse their programming, because it takes time. It's not something that you can just say, oh, and then, oh, I know it, oh, and then move. It takes awareness, because sometimes I've been triggered to do it, but now I can tell that I'm actually moving fucking far away from people pleasing. But sometimes you get a situation that trigger you to please, and then you feel like, oh wow, I can't believe I done that. Sometimes situation trigger you. The only thing that you need to be aware, having awareness and taking your time to respond to certain situation, it's another key. It's another thing that's gonna help you, because whenever you are people's please recovery, you need to take time. Whenever, for example, when a friend just called you, probably people that you don't talk to anymore, because sometimes people that you don't talk to anymore, they come back to test you. It's a universally test. They come back to test you. They were like, can I come and blah 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 and blah blah blah, and you know that you don't want to talk to this person, and you don't know that you don't want to meet up with this person. So you need some time. Don't just respond immediately. Just take your time and then respond and be like, you know what, I don't think I will be able to do this, and I want to meet you, and for me and you, we're not fucking with each other anymore. Just, you know. So it takes time. Just give yourself time. Whenever you find yourself, be like, oh, I did it again. No, there's no need to worry about that. We all went through it. It's just one of those things. There's this saying that in order for something to move, in order for you to actually let go of certain patterns, sometimes it's something that that has to do with arrow. Whenever you are actually pointing out with the arrow, you need to, gosh, I hate English sometimes. The arrow, you know that you have to actually pull the arrow backward in order for you the order to go far. So you need, sometimes you need experience like that. They're gonna take you back and forth until you actually pass the lesson, because we are constantly learning, constantly passing spiritual whatever lesson that we actually experiencing. So thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. Thank you for liking, for sharing, as well as for subscribing my YouTube channel, and thank you guys for the donation. Bye.